everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. Before we get into the video, I wanted to let you know that our fellow Starfield shipbuilder and friend of the channel, Wise Old Wizard, is running a shipbuilding contest called Wizards Battle of the Builders. The winner will get their ship featured in a feature-length build video on Wizards' channel. Runners-up will also be showcased in a spotlight video following the release of the winner's video. To enter, head over to Wise Old Wizard's YouTube channel and join his Discord server to submit your build. You'll find myself and other Starfield content creators there talking about ship builds, mods, outpost building, and more. Deadline for submission is September 29th. Now, if you've been paying attention to my recent videos, you may have noticed that I've been cruising around in my Archangel build lately. This is a fun ship with a sleek style that just stands out while cruising the stars. And while I love this ship, I couldn't help thinking, what if I made it bigger? After all, bigger is better, right? What would a legendary version of the Archangel be? Would it be a monster? And with that idea in mind, I give you Leviathan. This is a legendary Class C destroyer designed to be the dominant force in the skies of Starfield. Coming in at 138 meters in length, this ship has a massive shield strength of over 30,000, a huge hull strength of 8,000, and full 100 mobility, and the firepower to back it all up. Comparing the stats next to the Archangel, which was a strong ship on its own, you can see just how powerful Leviathan is. With a crew capacity of 22, over 18,000 cargo capacity, and all the amenities you'll ever need, this ship is the perfect command base for you and your crew. Now, this is a Class C ship, so you'll need your piloting skill at rank 4. You will also need your Starship design skill to be rank 4, and be at least level 95 to access all the parts. I would also recommend that you have the following skills leveled as high as you can go to take advantage of the full power of this ship. Ship Command, Astrodynamics, Ballistic Weapons, Energy Weapon Systems, Engine Systems, Payloads, Shield Systems, Particle Beam Weapon Systems, and Automated Weapons Systems. So now that you know a little bit about the ship, let's get into the build. So if it's not obvious by now, this is a modded build. So let's talk about the mods that you're going to need to build this ship. All these mods are available for both Xbox and PC directly through the Creation Store. First off, we're going to need the Ship Building Tweaks mod. This lets us not only build bigger ships and use more modules, but it lowers the tolerance on pieces, letting us blend them together. Make sure this mod is last in your load order. We'll also need Place Doors Yourself. This lets us decide not only where doors and ladders go, but also what type of doors appear. Next, we'll need the Better Ship Parts Flips mod. This will let us take vanilla structure pieces in the game and flip them any way we want. The other mods that you will need are Matilija Aerospace, AvonTech Shipyards, Tiger Shipyards, and empty 1x1 habs. These will add extra pieces in the game that we're going to use to build the ship. I would also recommend the All Ship Parts Unlocked mod. This lets you purchase any ship part at your outpost, including bigger habs and unique parts. This just makes building easier than flying all over the galaxy in a half-completed ship. So once we have our mods installed, let's get to building. First thing we're going to need to do is purchase a ship. Now, I'm on New Atlantis, which is our normal starting off point. So let's head over to the ship vendor and see what he has for sale.
Anything I can help you with? I'm sure you can find something you like.
It really doesn't matter what ship you pick, as we'll not be using any of the parts on it. So pick up whatever is the least expensive on the list, which is normally the ramp. Once we have our ship, let's head over to our outpost. Now, if you don't have the All Ship Parts Unlocked mod, you'll need to visit a couple other places to get your parts, namely New Homestead and the Deimos Shipyards in the Sol system, and Stroud Eklund on Neon. Once at our outpost, let's head up to the top of our landing pad. Interact with the panel at the top and select the option to view and modify your ships. Let's start off by deleting your starter ship. We're not going to be using anything from it. We're going to be building this ship in stages. Since this is a bigger ship, it's hard to fit all the pieces on screen at once. So we're going to break it up into sections. We're going to start with our hab layout. I'll put all the parts on screen now, pause the video here, and grab all those pieces. So here's our hab layout. Now the only thing we don't have on screen is our doors. We're going to place those as we go. So let's get into it. We're going to start by building off our big 3x3x2 hab module. This will serve as our center point for the ship. Let's bring over our stairwell module. This is going to attach to the center front hook point on the bottom floor of our big hab. But before we attach it, we have to place our doorway. Hover your cursor over the hook point and select Add. Scroll up to the top of the habs listing to find your doors. Now I'm going to use a passageway for this, as I prefer to have a more open flow to my ship. Once the passageway is placed, attach the rear hook point of our stairwell to the passageway. Next, rotate under the ship into the back of the stair module. Place another passageway on the rear bottom hook point of the stairwell. Next, take your 1x1 hab and attach that to the back of the stairwell. This is where our ship docker is going to go. Now that the entry habs are placed, let's move on to the rest of the ship. Next, we're going to place our ramps. These are going to serve as our passageways to the different hab modules. Let's start by adding passageways to the top side hook points of our large hab. We want 3 on one side and then 3 on the other side. Once we have those attached, let's bring over 3 of our ramp modules. We want to place the outside ramps facing a downward slope, and the center one at an upward slope. Now let's move these habs out of the way to make some room, and we'll do the same on the other side. Next, we're going to add more passageways to the ends of the ramps, just like we did on the habs. Again, I'm using passageways instead of doors, as I like to have an open flow through the ship and not having to open a door as I move about. If you prefer to have doors on these spots, then that's certainly up to you. Now we're going to place our bottom habs. take your Deimos 2x2 computer core and attach the front side hook point to the right aft ramp. Let's just move these habs out of the way so we have a little bit of room to work. Now take the 2x2 engineering bay and connect that to the front of the computer core. But before we attach that, we need to attach a passageway, so go ahead and attach a passageway to the front left hook point. Now we can attach our engineering bay. We're going to do the same on the other side of the ship. The brig should attach to the back, and then we're going to place a passageway on the front right hook point, and now attach the battle station to the front of the brig. Once we are done there, let's attach our upper habs. Start with the Stroud 2x2 living quarters. This will attach directly above the engineering hab. Now, we're going to place a passageway on the outside rear hook point of that hab. We want it here because there's a small alcove right in that area that serves as a good entryway to our next hab. Next, take the Stroud 2x2 battle station and place that right behind the living quarters. Now for the other side, we're going to follow the same layout. First, place the 2x2 empty living quarters over the battle station hab. Next, we're going to place our passageway, but we're going to place it on the inside rear hook point. This is because that passageway I mentioned in the other hab is in the same spot. Now take your other 2x2 battle station and place that right behind the hab we just placed. Now that those are placed, let's add more passageways to our central hab. Start in the front and add open passageways to the top 3 hook points on the front of our hab. Now add 2 more passageways to the left and right top hook points on the back of the ship. There. Now let's just adjust our camera down a little bit. Next, take your Matilija 1x3 hab and place it on the back of the central hab, right where we just placed our passageways. Next, we're going to assemble our captain's quarters for the top of the ship. Start with our Matilija 2x1 hab. This is going to be the captain's office. Now we're going to place a door at the back of the hab. Select the door aft here. Next, take our V-hab and attach that to the back of the 2x1 hab. Now we're going to place passageways on the rear hook points of this hab. Next, take the 1x2 hab and place that on the back of the V-hab. Now take this whole structure and we're going to place it on top of the central hab right in the middle. There we go. This whole structure will serve as our captain's office, bedroom, and executive washroom. On the front of the captain's quarters, let's place another door. Next, bring over the ship's bar hab. On the top front hook point of our stairwell, place a passageway. Attach the ship bar to the passageway. Now we're going to work on the front arms of the ship. Place a passageway on the front left hook point of our engineering bay. Now place another passageway on the battle station hab on the other side. Next, take 2 Deimos 2x1 control stations and place those on the passageways we just placed. Now, on the front inner hook points of the habs we just placed, attach another passageway. Next, take another 2x1 Demos control station and attach the rear outer hook point to the passageways we just placed. Now attach another passageway to the end of the control stations we just placed. Now take 2 of the 3x1 engineering bays and place those at the end of the inner control station habs. Next, take the remaining habs and combine them together with the control station in the back and an engineering bay in the front. We don't need to add doors or passageways to these, as we're not going to be using these as actual habs. Now take each of those structures and attach them to the front of the arms of our ship. This finishes our hab layout. Now it's time to move on to the next section of our build. Next, we're going to add what I call our required pieces, such as bridge, grav drives, landing bays, etc. I'll put the parts list on screen now. Pause the video and get shopping. So here's our layout of our pieces. Now, we don't have all the pieces on screen. We're going to add the Matilija shield boosters as you go. Reason is they tend to do some funky things graphically when you have a bunch of them unattached. Plus, they're easier to place through the attach option. So we're going to start with our landing bay. Let's take that and place that just below the ship bar on the front of our stairwell. Next, take your ship docker and bring that over. Flip it so it's upside down, and place that on the 1x1 hab behind the stairwell. Next, take the TIG cargo hold and place that behind the 1x1 hab under the ship. Once that's in place, let's spin to the back of the ship. We're going to place our drive section next. So take the reactor booster, reactor, and grav drive and combine them together in a horizontal structure. Now take this whole drive structure and place it on the back of the ship under the 1x3 hab. Once that's in place, it's time to place our landing gears. We're going to select all of our landing gears and bring them under the ship. These are going to go under the ship along the bottom of the center hab, 4 on each side. Once our landing gears are in place, we're going to place some of our Matilija shield boosters. Start by taking one of the shield boosters and placing it in the open space in between the landing gears, just behind the cargo hold. The rest of our shield boosters we're going to have to buy as we go, but it'll be a little easier to attach them this way. Now copy that piece and attach it in between the other 2 landing gears. Next, hover your cursor over the rear hook point and select Attach. Scroll to the Equipment tab. You should have an option for a shield booster, but it's facing fore to aft. This makes a cross shape. Hit Accept to attach it. Now let's do that again, but hover your cursor over the hook point at the end of the shield booster and attach another booster here. Next, we're going to grab our 2 fuel tanks and bring those to the back of the ship. These pieces are going to slide into the same spaces that we just put our shield boosters. These pieces fit together rather nicely. You can see once we have everything attached that the shield boosters actually fill in the empty space in between the fuel tanks. Next, grab your engines. These will attach to the bottom 2x2 halves, 2 on each side. Grab one of the TIG shield boosters and attach it to the top of the VHAB. Let's finish placing our cargo holds. We're going to start with the shielded cargo holds. Take a row of 4 of them, and this will go under one of the bottom 2x2 halves. I put the shielded cargo holds on the inside. Now take the other 4 and place them on the other side of the ship. Now take a row of 4 of the regular cargo holds and place them next to the shielded cargo holds. Do the same with the last 4. There we go. All our cargo holds are placed, and this should give us plenty of storage space for anything we might pick up along the way. Now, take your TIG shield generator and place that on top of the stairwell hat. Now, the rest of the pieces we're not going to place quite yet, but let's move them over in between the arms of the ship. We'll place them in the next section. There we go. Everything is placed, and we're ready to move on to our next build section. Now, up next is our structural pieces. We're going to have a lot of pieces to grab here. So, I'm going to put all the parts list on screen now, pause the video here, and grab everything before continuing. So here's our structural layout. There are a lot of pieces to place, and we don't have all of our parts on screen just yet. We're going to purchase a few pieces as we go. We're going to start with our Deimos Hull A pieces. These are going to attach to the bottom side hook points of our stairway hub, 1 on each side. Once those are in place, place your cursor over the bottom open hook point of the central hab and select Attach. We're going to attach a shield booster here. Now let's do the same on the open side hook point, creating a cross between the boosters. Now do the same on the other side. Now let's take the TIG shield boosters and place them in the center of the crosses we created, attaching to the top of the Deimos Hull A's. Next, let's take our porthole and connect that to the center top hook point of our center hab. Now let's spin the view so we're looking at the back of our bridge. What we want to do is place our cursor over the bottom center hook point of the bridge and attach a shield booster here as well. Now that we have all of our shield boosters in place, let's slide our bridge into place. The easiest way to line this up is have the straight connector off the back of the bridge attached to our captain's quarters on the top of our central hab. And that completes the bridge area. And we have all of our boosters hidden away. Don't worry though, we're going to be adding more of those later. Next, let's place these Deimos braking engines. We're going to attach one of them to the front of each of the arms of our ship. Next, take two of them and place them on the front of our cargo holds on the sides of the ship. Do the same on the other side with the other pair. Next, let's place the Tayo end caps. Take one of them and flip it so it's facing the opposite way, and attach it to the other one. Repeat the process with the other pair. Now take one of the end cap pairs and let's attach that to the front of our top 2x2 halves. Do the same on the other side with the other pair. Now we're going to place our Tayo side caps. Take four of them and place these on the outside edge of our upper 2x2 halves. Let's do the same on the other side of the ship. Now we're going to take three of them and place these on the inside edge of our upper 2x2 halves. And let's repeat that again on the other side of the ship. Now, for the backs of these halves, we're going to use a technique that we used in the Dr. Shoot's rebuild video to blend the hard edges of these side caps. So let's bring over all the pieces that we're going to need. First, we're going to need our Nova braking engines. Next, we're going to need 4 Deimos spine Gs. And lastly, we need 4 of the Nova bracers. What we're going to do is make it so the Nova braking engine sticks out a little, and the round edge of the braking engine blends into the curve of the side cap. This is tricky as the spacing to do this is odd, so we're going to need to use our spine pieces to create a half space. And then we're going to use our Nova bracers to create all the hook points that we need. So let's get into creating this shape. First, let's move this out of the way and put it back where it belongs. Now start by taking a Nova bracer and placing it on the inside back hook point of our hab. Now, if we just try putting the braking engines here, you can see it's a little short of where we need. So we're going to have to use a spacer to get the distance right. Take a spine G and flip it so it's facing sideways. This is going to attach to the inside edge of our Nova bracer. Now, attach the braking engine to the spine G. You can see this makes it line up exactly how we want. If we zoom in a little bit, you can see how the round edge of the Nova bracer blends with the Tayo side cap. Now to place the other side, first remove the Nova bracer. Now take another spine G and flip it so it's facing sideways, but opposite of our last piece. Now attach that to our other spine piece. Next, let's take another Nova braking engine, flip it so it's facing the opposite way, and attach that to the spine we just placed. Now, if we select these pieces, you notice they're not attached to the ship just yet. What we're going to do is take our Nova bracers and slide those back to where we had them. This will attach to the open hook point on the back of the hab. Now, if we double click the piece, we can see it's all attached to the ship, and it creates a very interesting shape for the back of our ship. Now let's go ahead and repeat that whole process, but on the other side of the ship. There we go. It's all placed and everything is attached. So let's go ahead and move on. But before we do, let's go ahead and readjust our camera so we're back to neutral. Now, since we're back here, let's go ahead and place our Deimos cowlings. Actually, scratch that. Let's place the Deimos bellies first. Grab 3 of them and bring them to the back of the ship. Flip them so they're facing backwards and attach them to the reactors and grav drive on the back of the ship. Now, take 3 more and bring those to the back as well. Flip them so they're facing backwards. And then what we're going to do is change the variation so the slope is on the top. Now attach these above the ones we just placed. Next, grab the 3 AvonTech nose pieces and bring those to the back. Take each piece and change the variation till it's facing backwards. Now take the middle one and flip it so it has a flat edge on both sides. Attach that to one of the pieces. And take the last piece and flip it so it's facing the opposite direction and attach that to the other pieces. Attach the whole structure under the Deimos bellies we just placed. This kind of finishes off that middle back shape. Next, grab 2 more Deimos bellies and bring those to the back. Flip them so they're facing backwards and attach them under the engines. Now go ahead and do the same thing on the other side with 2 more Deimos bellies. Now we can go ahead and bring over those 4 Deimos cowling pieces. Take one and change the variation so it's on its side. Take another piece and do the same thing, and then flip it so it's facing the opposite way. Combine them together. Place this on the inside edge of the lower 2x2 hab. The end should just be even with the end of the engine. Now let's do the same on the other side with the remaining pieces. That finishes off the back for now. Let's rotate to the front and work on that a little bit. Start by bringing over the Nova cowling pieces. Place one in front of the 2x2 hab, and the other in front of the 2x1 hab. Do the same on the other side. Next, we're going to start shaping the arms of the ship. Start by bringing over 2 of the angled Deimos bumpers. These will go on the front of the arm, just behind the braking engines, one on each side. Now, take a straight bumper piece and put that behind the angled bumper. Take the next one and place that just behind the other one. Now place another one behind that. The last one will actually blend into the Nova cowling. Now you notice the front 2 bumpers are blended together. Let's move that second one down 1 spot so the middle 2 are actually blended together. Now it's really up to you how you want to configure this. You could move them all down 1 so none of them look blended. I just like the look of the middle 2 blended. It's really up to you how you want this to look. There really is no wrong answer. So now let's go ahead and repeat that process on the other side of the ship. Next, let's take the 3 Deimos straight bumpers and place them behind the angled bumper on the inside of the arm. Now let's pan on the ship and take a look at where we're going to need to place the next couple pieces. We're going to get them right into that hab in the back. Grab an angled bumper and bring that over. Change the variation so it's facing backwards, and this is going to go on the very last open hook point of our arm. This should just miss that bar hab. Now, take another straight bumper and connect that to the open hook points on the arm. Now let's repeat that on the other arm. Once done, we can see this gives the arms a little better of a shape. Next, grab another angled bumper and bring that over to the side of the ship. Remove the rear Nova cowling and place the bumper on the front open hook point. Reattach the cowling in the same spot, and this will blend the two pieces together, and it just matches the shape to the cowling in front of it. Let's repeat that process on the other side of the ship. Again, this just blends the shape of the Nova pieces in a little bit better with the rest of the ship. Next, grab two angled bumpers and bring these over to the side of the ship. Attach one to the front side hook point of our 2x2 hab. Take the other one and change the variant so it's facing backwards, and place this on the open hook point on the side of the engine. Next, bring over two of the straight bumpers. Attach these to the open hook points on the sides in between the last pieces we placed. They'll need to be blended into one another to fit. Now let's go ahead and repeat that process on the other side of the ship. And there we go. We can see this kind of ties in the shape of the arms to the rest of the ship. Let's go ahead and move these two pieces out of the way, and we're going to start working on the tops of the arms. First, grab two spine A's. These are going to go to the first open hook points on the tops of the arms. Next, grab two spine C's. These are going to go just behind the spine A's. Now we're going to leave the next three hook points blank. We'll fill those in later. Grab three of the Demos radiators and bring those over. Skip three hook points and place them in a row, starting at the fourth open hook point. Do the same on the other arm. Next, grab 2 spine Bs, and these are going to go just behind our radiators, 1 on each arm. Lastly, take 2 more spine As, flip them so they're facing backwards, and place them behind the spine Bs. Now, for the open space we have left, we're going to put the AvonTech radiators here. Now, we can't just put them on top as they sit a little too high. What we're going to do is sink them into the arms of the ship. This will blend them in a little nicer with the rest of the pieces we have. Start by selecting the 2x1 and 3x1 halves and moving them out of the way. Next, select 3 of the AvonTech radiators and attach them to the front of the hab inside the arm. Now we can put the other habs back into place, and because we have the shipbuilding tweaks mod, they slide right in. This sinks the radiators into the arm so they match the profile in the Demos pieces. This is also why I said we're not going to put any doors leading into these front habs, as since we're sinking the radiators into them, there's going to be a lot of glitching, so it's easier just to make them non-accessible. Now let's repeat the process on the other side with the other radiators. Now that the tops of the arms are done, let's work on the underside of the arms. Take 2 spine As and change the variation so that they're facing upside down. Place these on the first open hook points under the arms. Behind those, we're going to place 2 Demos spine Ds. And then behind those, we're going to place 2 spine Fs. Next, take 2 spine Cs, flip them so they're facing backwards, and change the variation so they're facing upside down. We're going to place these behind those spine Fs. Next, grab another pair of the spine Fs. Flip them so they're facing backwards, and then change the variation so they're upside down. These are going to go in the same spot as our spine C's we just placed. We should be able to attach it to the open hook point on the spine F's in front of it. This blends the shapes together and gives us some extra hook points to mount our weapons to later. Now let's go ahead and place the other one on the other side. Now that we have these mounted, we're going to place some shield generators next to give us a little bit more lighting below the ship and up our shield strength. Hover your cursor over the rear hook point of the piece we just placed. Hit add, and let's add 3 shield boosters in a row to this. Do the same on the other side. Next, take 2 spine Ds and bring them over. Flip them so they're facing backwards and change the variation so they're upside down. Place them at the end of the shield booster line. Next up is a pair of spine Bs. These are going to go right behind the spine Ds on the bottom. Last is a pair of spine As. Flip them so they're facing backwards, and change the variation so they're upside down. Place them in that last open hook point behind the spine Bs. Next, we're going to fill up the space in between the shield boosters. Grab 3 of the Demos radiators and bring them over. Flip them so they're upside down, and then you should be able to connect them together in a line. Now, place the whole line in the same space as the shield boosters. It should snap to hook points that are underneath them. Now we're going to repeat that process on the other side of the ship. This blends these pieces together nicely, and since the shield boosters glow, it'll add some light underneath the ship. Next, take the remaining Demos belly pieces and place them on the front of the hull A pieces next to our landing bay. Now let's attach our equipment plates. We're going to put one on top of the 2x1 hab just behind the first Nova cowling. And do the same on the other side. Now let's take another one and flip it so it's upside down. This will go under the ship in the same position, one on each side. The remaining plates will go on the back of the ship. These will go underneath the ship on the rear open hook point of our bottom 2x1 hab, 2 on each side. Next, we're going to fill in some of the open space on the back of the arms. We just want to soften that hard angle a little bit. Start by taking the spine G and flipping it so it's on its side. We're going to attach that to the left of that open gap. Next, take an angled belly piece and then flip it. Then change the variant so it's facing backwards. Attach that to the spine G we just placed. And once again, let's repeat that process on the other side of the ship. This just gives us a little shape inside that space and blends the edge in nicely. Next, we're going to fill in some space on the inside edge of our ship. We're going to use 2 angled bumpers and 1 straight bumper for this. Take one of the angled bumpers and change the variation so it's facing backwards. Once done, bring all 3 pieces over. These are going to go on the inside edge of the ship on the bottom row of the central hab. It's a little tricky to see, but it is accessible. First, take the rear angled piece and place that on the open side hook point of our drive section. Next, take the forward-facing angled bumper and place that on the open hook point at the front of the central hab. Now take that straight bumper and place it in between those 2 pieces. The center bumper will clip ever so slightly into the ramp, but it will not be visible on the inside. And let's do the same on the other side of the ship. This does leave a little bit of a gap here, but it also lets the glow of our shield boosters come through. Next up, we're going to need 2 spine A's and 2 radiators. Flip them so they're on their side with the straight edge facing in. One of the spine A's should be facing backwards. These are going to attach to the sides of our landing gears under the ship. What this does is just kind of block off the weird angles of the landing gears. And let's go ahead and repeat that process on the other side of the ship. Now, the last pieces we'll be placing are optional, but I think they add an interesting element to the ship. These are these AvonTech platings. We're going to use these to add a little bit of glow to the ship in between the side halves. Now, these are a little tricky to place, so what we're going to do is start by moving the top two halves out of the way. Next, grab one of the plates and attach this to the rear hook point on the engine. Now, copy this piece forward on the next hook point. And repeat that until you have 4 in a row. Now, we're going to do the same on the hook point next to it. Copy the rear piece over one, and then copy forward again. Don't try to copy the whole line. Selecting multiple of these pieces is difficult, and it's just easier to copy them one by one. Once we have those pieces placed, copy another piece from our unplaced piece, and then change the variation so it's upside down. This will go on the open hook point in the rear of the top section. Now, copy the piece just to the right. Copy another piece and bring it over to our separated halves. Start in the rear and copy the pieces forward till you have 3 in a row on each side. Now, select the whole structure and put it back into place. This gives us some shape in between the halves and creates a nice glow in there as well. Now, let's go ahead and repeat that process on the other side of the ship. Now, as I said, these pieces aren't entirely optional. If you don't want to place them, this ship will look just fine without them. Now, while we're placing these pieces, it's a good time to remind you to head over to Wise Old Wizard's YouTube channel and sign up for his Discord server. He is holding a build contest there. The winner gets their build featured in a full-length video. And there we go. Now that those are placed, it's time to add our weapons. This is going to be a short list, so it should be easy to get. Now, if there are other weapons you prefer to use, that's entirely up to you. Use whatever weapons you prefer. And here's our weapon loadout. It looks simple, but these weapons pack a punch. So let's add them to our ship. We're going to start with our single barrel cannons. These are going to go on the equipment plates that we placed on the front of our ship, right behind our Nova cowlings. We're going to put one on top, and then we're going to put one on the bottom of the ship. And they're going to be two on each side of the ship. Next, we're going to place our double barrel flak cannons. These are our auto cannons. These are going to go on the back of the ship on those 4 equipment plates that are under our 2x2 halves. And lastly, we're going to place these big double barrel cruiser cannons. These are going to go under our arms, attaching to the hook point on the sides of those Demos spines. We're putting 2 under each arm. And there we go. Our weapons are loaded. We do have one error left, and that is to assign our weapons. So let's go ahead and do that now. And let's go ahead and rename our ship. And you guys know what the last thing we have to do is change out this factory color. And we're finally finished with our ship. So here are the stats before skill and crew bonuses apply. And here are the final stats after those bonuses apply. All right, let's go take a tour of our new ship. All right, and now we get a good look at our ship, the Leviathan. And you can see the size difference between that ship and the other cargo ship sitting on the other landing pad here. All right, now we get a good look at our final ship, the Leviathan. You can see the size difference between our ship and the other cargo ship sitting at the other landing pad. Now we are in Hope Town because I wanted to give you a landing pad big enough to showcase this ship. So let's jump down and go take a tour of our ship.
I don't want to hear any complaints.
Get a good look at the front here. See how huge those cannons are. There's a little bowling alley going into the ship. We got our shield generators underneath there. Shield boosters, actually. Let's get a nice little bit of light underneath here. We'll head on into the ship. And here we are, we enter the ship. I enter into this little art gallery. I like doing this where you enter the ship, you have a little bit of art surrounding you. It just gives you a nice intro to the ship. I've labeled all the rooms too with these signs, so I know exactly where I'm going in the ship. A ship this big, it's easy enough to get lost, so it's nice to label everything. So we have our docking port for the ship here. And it looks like this is the popular place to hang. We have Cora, Sarah, and Sam all hanging out here for some reason. In here, I put in some mannequins for our armor. And I got some weapons hanging out so we can prep for, like, boarding. Heading up our stairs, we have more art along the walls. And we have our front bar lounge area. Got some pool going on here. Little bar back there. And you can hang out here and enjoy a great view as you're cruising the stars. Heading across into our main area of the ship. Now this hab is actually the Tiger hab. I like this hab a little bit better than the Matilija hab, as we have a ceiling and we actually have 2 floors to this hab. The Matilija hab is really open at the top, so you kind of lose a lot of space by not being able to build up at the top there. And the nice thing about the Tiger hab is you have actually a medical office. So let's start there. Let's go into our med bay. And we have a nice working med bay. We have beds there. I put a little surgical area behind here. We have a little auto dock here if we need to use it for 500 credits, and a pharmaceutical lab right in here. Coming out the med bay, we do have some beds on this floor. If people need to take a quick nap, you can actually crash there. Little server farm. We have a crafting station here with our spacesuit workbench, a research lab, some mannequins, another research station, industrial workbench, and a weapon workbench. Out the door here, we have a little crew eating area where our ship doctor is lounging and having a coffee. Tiger Industries actually gives you a hireable doctor for your ship. So if you wanted to have just a real doctor, you can have a real doctor hanging out on your ship, which I think is a nice addition. We got a fridge here, sinks, microwaves, more beds, some workstations, and our gal bank little wall here for all our credits, and our little robot cleaning around. Let's head up the stairs to the second floor of this hab. And this is the second floor. This is where I think this hab is superior to the Matilija. You get this whole second floor, and it does come pre-decorated. I really didn't do much here, except maybe add some plants here. Other than that, everything is fairly stock. We have a cooking station up here. Around the outside, we have all our mission boards, plus a trade authority kiosk. And again, this is all stock with this hab. Some more beds. Mission board, display racks. I did add this cool little food stand here. So if anyone wants snacks, they can come up and get some snacks as they lounge out here. So this ship is divided into 3 floors. So up at the top, above this floor, we have our crew areas. And then going down, we have our work areas, this serving as the middle floor. So let's head down first. And again, I labeled all these with signs so I know where I'm going. Now, there are no ladders in this build. It is all stairs. And also these ramps. So instead of having ladders that go down, I just take a ramp down. So here we'll head down to the brig. And this is just your stock brig. I really didn't do anything here or too much. I think I added just some monitors around just to give it a little bit more active feel, but this is your stock brig. Through here we have our command bay. And this is your battle 2x2 battle station. Again, I didn't do too much here. I just left it kind of stock as that it was fairly well decorated as is. I didn't feel I needed to add anything to it. Down here we have a cargo bay. Now this was an empty 2x2. Or sorry, that's a 3x1. And I just made it into a cargo bay here. So we have our, just general cargo area going into our vault. So we have all of this additional storage. That's on top of our cargo storage. And then in the back, we have a research lab. So I crafted this full research lab for us to work in. Figured as you're exploring the stars, you're going to be researching planets that you're on. This is a good place to do that. So let's head back out and go check out the other side of the ship on the lower area. The lower work area. We have a ramp going up here. And we'll go to the back of the ship again. And we'll head down. This side's our mainframe. This is our computer core. Again, I didn't do anything to this hab. This is all pre-decorated. This one actually looked pretty good, so figured keep it as it is. Didn't really need much to it. Through here, we have our engineering bay. And this was another pre-decorated hab. I left this as is. I do not care about the trash just hanging out in the corner here. Kind of wish we could clean up some of these habs. That would be nice. So say I wanted to keep this center console, but I wanted to clean up all this stuff. I could. That'd be a nice addition. Through here we have our armory. And I put some displays up here so you can display some collectibles as you fly along. And then into our armory, we have our mannequins. Nice glasswood in the middle. And a full armory. All our weapons on display. And out the back, this is cool. I got this from Wizard. This was not my idea. Wise Old Wizard came up with this, but we have a little shooting range in the back. I thought that was a really cool idea off his last ship, so I decided to steal it. So if we wanted to practice, we've got a nice spot to practice in. All right, let's head back up and go to our middle floor. And here we are back out on our middle floor. Oh, the one thing I forgot to show you on this middle floor is we do have an atrium out back here. I wanted a place just to show off some of the plants, so I built a little atrium out the back. Nice little relaxation area. We have a couch here. You just want to come out here and chill in the calm peace of the forest. So now, as we go up to the upper floor, we have in the center, we have 2 spots that go up. That's going to be our crew area. So on this side, we have our lounge. We'll show this first. And we have a living quarters 2x2 here. And I put some extra weights in the corner here. Put some vending machines around. Just to give them something to snack on again. Some drink stations. And through here, we have our bar area. Now, this was an empty 2x2 room, and I just converted this into a crew bar. Really cool. We got some pool tables, games up there on the wall, ping pong, full bar area, some taps, full drink station, some cocktails, coffee, big screen TV, and we got darts in the back there. Just kind of a cool little crew lounge back here. And we do have restrooms over there. Now, on the other side, we have our crew quarters. Now, with my Vengeance build, it was pointed out that we only had 1 bed for the entire crew. Now, this crew is, you can have up to 22 crew members if you have the mod that lets you have that much crew. But this will hold up to 22 crew members. So I decided to build whole crew quarters. So we go up here. We have this really, really, really nice aquarium. This was a great mod addition here. And through here, we have our crew sleeping quarters. There's 20 beds in here. So plenty of sleeping room for your entire crew. Plus, we have all those other beds down below. We have a full locker room out back here. So plenty of lockers for them to keep everything in. And there is a bathroom here, but you notice these bathrooms are tiny. So one thing about these HABs in space, the bathrooms are really, really, really small. For a crew of 22, I knew that was not going to suffice. So out the back here, I built a huge industrial restroom here. We have laundry, washing machines, lockers. We have toilets. We have 5 stalls, and these doors do close. Now, if you're wondering how I built these are through the Build Walls Yourself mod. There is a mod out there where you can build walls yourself. It is a little hard to use. It takes a lot of practice to get these things lined up. Even here, they're not quite lined up right, but it is an interesting mod to use. You even have a little handicap stall back up here. There's always one that's a little bigger. We have our sink area. Some laundry baskets back here. Towels. And we have a shower area. We have 6 full showers. So the crew doesn't have to stink. So one thing you notice, these bathrooms are kind of like combination shower bathrooms. I wanted the crew to have their own full out bathroom like this. So we've checked out the operations. We've checked out the crew area. In the front of the ship is our bridge. So there are 2 ramps going up to the bridge. We got this cool little view of one of our shield boosters. I thought that was really neat, so I kept that in there like that. So there's 2 ramps up to this bridge. Wait till you see this bridge. This bridge is enormous. Look at this thing. This is a bridge. And now this is a bridge for a command ship. Look at all the windows and just how big this bridge really is. And it is 2 floors. You can go down to the other floor. There's stairs all the way down. There are bathrooms on the bridge as well, so as the crew's flying around, they don't have to run up and out the bridge. They can one in each corner. Full nav table in the middle. crew stations all around. This is just an impressive bridge. Probably one of Matilija's best additions. Now, off the back of the bridge, I built our captain's quarters. So this is our nice little captain's quarters. We come in again, this artwork. I kind of like the muted lighting in here. Kind of makes for a cool, relaxing transition. We have our captain's office. There's some mannequins. These are actually weapon racks if I wanted to put some weapons up there. We got some nice big windows to gaze out of. Working navigation console, so I don't have to go to the bridge to command them to travel to another system. I can do so right from my office. Now at the back, we have our captain's bedroom. Nice bed, display rack, some couches, and again, a couple really nice windows here. And then out the back, we have our executive washroom. Yes, the captain deserves their own washroom, so that is what I built. So we have our own sink, our own shower, our toilets, and our own aquarium. And a nice window out the back so we can land on whatever planet we're on and gaze out the back. We have our own lockers out the back here. And just kind of a nice little executive washroom. Let's head back out to this bridge and admire it one more time. Ah, look at this. Look at the view you get from this bridge. I mean, that is a command bridge. And that's the end of the video. Please hit like and subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon to get notified when I upload new videos. I'm Team Scorpio, and I'll see you in the next video.